That was on. Good evening. Calling the regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Park District of the City of Fargo to order. First, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
I'm wound a little tight today, as you can probably imagine.
Understandable.
All right. So is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? It's Susan today. We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Susan, please pull the board.
Commissioner Rosted,
Yes.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
and Commissioner Dawson.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to the regular agenda, we have no one signed up to speak from the audience or public comments, so we'll move on to agenda item number 2, which is the director's report.
Thank you, Commissioner Dawson. So Island Park Pool opened on June 1st. For the week, we had obviously great weather. We also had great attendance. For the week, we had over 7,000 people at the pool, and just the weekend alone, so on June 6th and 7th, we had close to 4,200 people at the pool. So I think everyone was super excited about Fargo Pool's opening for the season.
Those numbers were that was just Island Park alone?
That was just Island Park.
Do we
yeah.
know what the total, or were the other pools not open?
Yeah,
It was just Island Park. Okay.
Yeah, the other pools open as part of my update.
Oh.
All the other pools opened yesterday. So there is coming up this weekend at Island Park, since we're talking about Island Park, the FM Gators are hosting their swim meet. This is an event that they've had for a long time. Last year was a great success. I think we're anticipating over 400 swimmers and their families. So the pool will be closed from Friday, June 12th through Sunday, June 14th. Last year, if you will recall, we kept a portion of the pool open, and just for the operational and safety, our team determined that due to the size of so many families and just the coordination of all of it, it was safer and best for the swim meet to close the pool for the weekend.
And Susan, similar to other times when we close it, someone's Island Park pool pass will work at a different pool?
Absolutely. Yep. Their pool pass will work at any of the other 4 outdoor pools.
Okay. Adult swim?
Adult swim, that was it. They're like just beating me to all of my updates.
You started it.
So again, last year we held, I think, the first ever just adult only swim night, and it was a huge success. We had many requests to do it again. So tomorrow night from 5 to 8 at Island Park Pool will be an adults only evening. So anyone is interested, tomorrow would be a great time to visit the pool.
First of 4.
Correct. All right, just a quick update. Yesterday at the Fargo Park Sports Center, we celebrated the 2nd anniversary of the facility. We did that by having admission for all of our open play spaces was free for the playground area, pickleball, the turf, and the gym. We had nearly 500 people that came in just for the open play. We had some concessions, or food and beverage offers some like special breakfast and lunch meal deals. We gave away some mini footballs and basketballs, and then the guests were entered into a drawing, and we'll be giving out punch cards. So I think a huge success. It was great to see all of the families take advantage of the free day.
First time voter.
An update. So the Roger Maris, Sanford's event, the Roger Maris Week is being held next week. The Sports Center will be hosting on Monday the 15th football and basketball. On the Tuesday, we'll be hosting volleyball. Wednesday will be pickleball, baseball, and softball. And then we are hosting their golf events at Rose Creek. So it'll be a very, again, busy week here at the Sports Center and at Rose Creek. And those are the updates that I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Golf numbers, do we know how is golf doing so far?
We don't have specific numbers, but Jane, do you want to?
Yeah, I don't have the specific numbers, but we've seen a really good surge of numbers of golfers. So the tee times are getting filled. Additionally, we have the new no-show policy, which has been extremely effective in terms of just communication with people, reminding them they have the tee times. And if they're not able to uphold that tee time, they are notifying us, and we are being able to fill those. So we've seen a huge opportunity there get filled so that people can gain access to the courses.
Yeah, and I just booked one the other day, and it's nice. You get a text, and then you have to confirm, and then I think you get an email too. So I think that's good. Glad to see it.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the Garden of Healing Phase 2. Phase 2s are a pretty big deal. It means there was a Phase 1, and it went well. This says Arlen and Sarah, but
Yeah,
Dave Beats must be rolling it off.
I'm just going to kick it off. So in your packets is information that we reviewed at the last Planning Commission meeting. We're here tonight to do it on a larger stage, to share the excitement of this great project that Sarah and Arlen will update us on in just a moment. But in your packet, if you remember at the planning meeting, we didn't have the plans and specifications attached to that agreement because those were still being worked on. Well, those are all inclusive in there now. So the agreement is ready to go. That spells out the basic responsibilities for the park district as well as the Garden of Healing group. So you can review all that, or you've had the opportunity to look at that. And without further ado, we'll turn it over for the real exciting part of this to Sarah and Arlen.
Thank you. So my name's Arlen. This is my wife, Sarah. And, this 5 years and about 2 months to the date, we were in front of you guys, most of you guys, and presenting this idea. And before I go into it, I just have to say thank you. Thank you for believing in our mission. Thank you for seeing what we had, and actually even knowing that it could go further than what we knew at the time. But specifically, I do want to thank one gentleman who was with us from the beginning, and that's Kevin Bowe. Kevin has been our great sounding board. He's always been there driving us in the right direction. And with that said, Dave's only one meeting behind Kevin on helping us. So it was a true pleasure. Unfortunately, our mission started out with a tragedy. We lost a son in a car accident. And, we could have curled up in a ball in a closet and pretended it didn't happen, or we could have did something. And Sarah looked at me one day in early 2020 and said, you know what? Our community is suffering so much physically and emotionally. We need to do something. And I said, what do you expect? I'm not a doctor. What can I do? She goes, well, nature's been a proven healing element for both the body and the soul. So why don't we start a garden of healing? And I looked there, sounds great, but where do you get land? It's expensive. And that's where the Fargo Park system came in and was our savior and a wonderful partner. So before we go in the garden, do you have anything to say? Okay. So we launched Garden of Healing. We did groundbreaking of Garden of Healing Phase 1 on May of 2021. We finished it in right around October or September of 2021. And since then, we've been driving to move the garden to a bigger footprint. And when I mean bigger, our current footprint is roughly 3,000 square feet. When Phase 2 is done, it moves it to 30,000 square feet. So what is 30,000 square feet? It's a football field. And we've done a lot of planning, brought a lot of smart people in. I'd love to tell you that I knew a ton about all this and it came from my mind, but I'm not smart enough for it. Even first meeting, Dave is telling me, hey, well, what type of park are you looking for? I said, a park. I go, well, what type of park is it? And I said, isn't a park a park a park? He goes, no, there's neighborhood parks, there's regional parks. Anyway, so he had to stomach my ignorance, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, with that said, I can talk hours for it, as Zoe found out the other day when she called me by, it'll be a quick call. No, it wasn't. Anyway, we have a video, and the video that is created is about a 33-minute virtual tour of what phase 2 of the garden will look like. Along with that, it's set to a song written by a gentleman who is struggling with cancer but found a lot of healing in the garden. And he wrote the poem, he created the song, and we put it to the video. So with that, if you want to run the video, that'd be great.
Heart of a quiet park where the flowers bloom, the trees stand guard. There's a pathway lined with names, each one a story, each one a soul. The stone steps out for a place. Hope to hear the together side by side. Prince of beneath our waves can hear. To hear the voices still call. There's clear in the garden of Eden, where love and memory stay. In the garden of Eden, their love carries on. Carries on.
So our intention of the garden is not just be for a certain group. It's intended to be for everybody. And one of the things that we added last fall were 4 limited mobility planters. They're when you go out there along the main pathway, you'll see that they're set up and they're designed so wheelchairs can go underneath them, or people who can't bend as easily or get down on their knees, they can access the dirt and get their hands on the dirt. Just recently, we can't talk about it yet until the 25th, but we applied for a grant with a large national organization that focuses on the 55 and over community. And very hard grant to get. It's specifically the full amount, but we introduced it to them in the very beginning of this video. There's a semicircle or a circle setup of planters, and that was what we proposed to them. And not only did we get the grant, but we got the entire $15,000 that will be added to the garden. So we're going to even address larger population of limited mobility citizens. So I see this as just huge for the garden, huge for the Fargo Park system, and without our partnership, none of this could have happened. So our ask tonight of you is to approve phase 2 so we can start putting a shovel in the ground and moving dirt. So questions?
Who wrote and performed that song again?
Randy Smith is his name.
Randy Smith.
Yeah.
Local person?
Yeah. So how I ran, so one day, so as you guys know, we do a lot of our own maintenance on the garden out there. And the bubbler for the bubbler burnt out that shoots water up the 2 pillars of rocks that we have. I was going out there to replace, and I was kind of crabby that day. And I was going out, and I get out to start working, and I see this gentleman sitting on the bench that's on the north side of it. And I figured I'd just leave him alone because he's out there to, enjoy the nature, not talk to me. Anyway, I can't remember how long it was, if it was 5 minutes, if it was 30 minutes, but all of a sudden something drew us together, and I have no recollection of what drew us together. And I started talking to him about his situation, what he was doing here. He goes, I was diagnosed with throat cancer. I was told that 6 months ago I would not be alive. He goes, I'm still alive. And I contribute a lot of it to the healing I got out at the garden. And I go, well, what do you do when you come out here? He goes, I meditate, I think, but I also write poetry. And he goes, while you were working on that, I wrote this poem, which was the lyrics to this song. I mean, which is a talent I have nothing of. I could try 10 years to write it, and I never could get it. And I was just in awe. And we loved the poem so much that we read it at, what was it, the Healing Hotline groundbreaking, the Healing Hotline groundbreaking. And then he decided to put it to music. And then another company came in and pro bono put it to a video for us. So yeah, it's just an amazing story. I think things have happened at the garden that I never managed or could have imagined back in 2021. It's just amazing. I still give a lot of credit to Dawn Morgan at the first meeting. It was the only question that came up, and she goes, the one question was, are you sure it's big enough? And I said, sure, Dawn, 3,000 square feet is plenty big. She had a way more vision than we did.
Well, I don't know if you saw the labyrinth, but the bricks in there are actually all donated from houses, probably from about university down to downtown. And they all came from the cobblestone when in 1893 there was a fire that destroyed all of Fargo before Alex Stern decided to rebuild. And those are all bricks that people have donated. So we have over 7,000 of them. We didn't know what we were going to do, build planters or something with them. But then they incorporated them into the path of the labyrinth. So it's cool that there's a piece of history. And then I'm not sure, I think it's probably Ace Brandt's grandpa or even further back, but I was digging in one of the flowers in phase 1 and I kept hitting something. I thought, oh, these rocks in Fargo, or hard clay. And I got down and started digging, and it's an old horseshoe. And so we're going to incorporate that in as well. Cause I'm sure they shoed the horse out there. It was all farmland. So that's a pretty cool piece of history that we get to put in there too.
And the actual brick is a Perkington brick, which does have some history within our community.
You guys have a lot of great stories.
Yeah.
The people that we met there have been amazing. I personally think this is the video you saw is absolutely gorgeous, unbelievable. But the reality is the true beauty is the healing that it brings to our community. Since we've had this gone, we've had 3 forms of vandalism. The first one, after the first season, the jackrabbits ate up a lot of our plants. A few years later, we had heavy rains right at Christmas time. It then froze. It saturated our flags. They froze and bent our flagpole at 45 degrees. So 2 were Mother Nature. The one that was true vandalism, someone came through and decided to kick over one of our bubblers. It's a MIA bubbler, broke it in half. And I had people come up to us and they said, aren't you just furious? And it's like, could be. And maybe it was purely vandalism. Or maybe at that time, that person needed to do that to find the healing they needed to get over the stress that they were in. So you know what? We'll just fix it, rebuild, and move on. And we did. And we had wonderful partners. Dakota Monument came in at that time, said, I think we can epoxy it together so we can use it because it's a perfect break. The flagpole, Indigo Sign said, we got flagpoles. You dig the hole. We'll put the poles up and set them for you. We're blessed in the community that we're in.
That's great. I met, a couple of weeks ago, I met the woman who put the bell in there.
Oh,
So she was telling me about her story and
yeah.
how much she loves that place too. So the impact you guys have made is remarkable, and it's a lot of your own blood, sweat, and tears, maybe more tears.
Well, I found out though, if we're looking for money, I send her because when she tries, it seems money comes then.
Oh, Arlen.
I just to reiterate what Vicky said. It's been a pleasure to be with you from the beginning out at the old place, and it started, as you said, with your personal healing process, and now I hear all the stories you talk about, either your relationship with other people or other people's healing processes, and that's obviously showing its work. And so I'm very happy for you guys that you're taking on this next phase, and appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I know this doesn't necessarily directly impact Fargo, but about 3 years ago, Pat Trainer, when we were at Dakota Medical Foundation having conversations, looked at us and said, so if money wasn't an object, what would you do? I said, well, first of all, we'd finish this one. But that's it. Next thing we do is we'd like to create 50 gardens in 50 states in 10 years. Because why should Fargo be the only one that has that? And I mean, that truly is a goal of ours. And Patrick Kirby, we have our Denim and Diamonds event every spring. It's a fundraiser, and it's another way just to relieve tension. It's not a stuffy gala by any means. We call it a shindig because it's anything from that. Anyway, he looked at me, he goes, well, I love your 50 states goal, but why not international? And I look at him, what are you talking about? He goes, what's in between North Dakota and Canada? The Peace Gardens. He goes, why don't we form a relationship with them and do something there? So, it's the vision that's unlimited. I mean, but I do have to say, actually, I was talking to Shelley Carlson, Mayor Moorhead, and she looks at me and she goes, well, Moorhead's in a different state. So,
Yeah, I'd just like to echo Commissioner Dawson, Commissioner Deutsch. What's the timeline? When do you think you'll have it all in with the weather?
well, assuming the weather stays dry, JT Lawn Service is leading this because it's more of a landscaping project than an infrastructure project, and they want to start putting their shovels in the ground starting next week. Time frame, I believe they said what?
August 10th, I think.
2
months.
Let's say end of September. Or we want to shorten it down as fast as we can. Well, weather, you just never know. Like to get it done, but there's a few big events that we help bring to the park system coming up. So one is called Strides for Second Chances. That takes place in July, right?
Mhm.
In July. And Strides for Second Chances is through LifeSource, which is an organ procurement organization out of the cities. And we help them start the event in Fargo to help build awareness around organ donation. Because our nonprofit, also the other arm of our nonprofit, focuses on organ donation, education, awareness, and support. Because Cameron, our son, who passed away, helped 124 people through organ donation. He had 3 viable major organs, 2 corneas, and the rest was tissue donation. So we are big promoters of that. We speak to a lot of high school students, actually about 2,000 a year on organ donation. Anyway, the second event is we're heavily involved with the Garden Society because, we have to help take care of this. So I want people that's smarter than I am on plant maintenance and so on. And they are having their regional meeting in Fargo. So not national, but regional meeting, which is 7 states. And that's in August. And we just want a great presentation here because if we present this well, maybe we can get the national event here sometime. So that's our goal, is to really bring more awareness about this and more healing.
Well, I said it in the planning meeting, and I'll say it again. This is great timing for me. When I got elected 4 years ago, you were kind of two of the first people I met. I got a tour of it, and I think it's awesome and it's fantastic, and it's such a good example of kind of how the park district can work with partners. We call them partners, right? You are a partner, you're raising your money, you're designing, building, and we get the pleasure to work with you to do awesome things for the community. And thank you so much for doing this and all the things you do for our community. And so with that, I will gladly make a motion to approve the plans as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Susan, please pull the board.
Hold on,
Oh,
I
sorry.
just have one comment. I just want to point out the way we were able to work with you two in your project. That's like, it's a collaboration, but it's the process, and we work together there, and it was a positive kind of thing, because sometimes we get with partners, it's a rockier road, and this one there were no rocks in this road, and I just want to call that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just horseshoes. I like that.
Commissioner Rosted,
Yes.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey,
Aye.
Commissioner Hill,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank
We
you
really
very
appreciate
much.
you.
One last request of you guys, if we can, on June 25th at 4 p.m. The chamber and us are having a groundbreaking. Now, dirt will probably already be moving, but just timing, we've had to push it to the 25th. We'd love to have each and every one of you out at the groundbreaking on June 25th at 4 p.m.
Carmen sent us invites.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
Thank you. Yay. Okay, moving on to a much less exciting, well, maybe more exciting topic. Agenda item number 4, Park Board onboarding. Commissioner Rosted.
Commissioner Dawson, with all due respect, I'm going to combine 4 and 5 because they overlap to the point where I don't know where one starts and one stops.
Okay.
So at the governance committee meeting on Wednesday, May 20th, we met. We reviewed the onboarding process, which I'll get to in a minute. We also looked at some governance policies for the executive director's accountability and personnel administration. On the executive director accountability and the personnel administration, we reviewed everything and no changes were suggested or made. So we're going forward with what was there from the previous. With the onboarding process, now I'll kind of move into item 4 there. We reviewed that. There were a few changes that I'd like to point out that we made, and I think they came out in red line in your packet, so there shouldn't be any issues with them. But on the first, I'll just walk through them. On the first one, the pre-election preparation, there was some work that the board president had to do on item number 1, and if we just made a clarification there, if the president is running for re-election like we are this cycle and will likely be 2 years from now in the next cycle, if the president is running for re-election, then this falls to the vice president or other designee. So it just gets awkward if you're like in the situation now where Vicky's running and all of a sudden she's got to contact the candidates. We just wanted to take the awkwardness out. Under item 2, we just flex the language a little bit. The second Wednesday, one day after the election, or within a reasonable time, knowing time is of the essence. We just added that in. So tomorrow isn't hardwired. Everyone here has day jobs. And so if you got a very hectic Wednesday after the election and you're president or you're responsible for making the calls, we just stretch that out a little bit. Underneath that bullet, it says board president contacts newly elected commissioners to schedule. I want to reference that as another item we missed, but we want to add that in parentheses or other designee, just so it gives us some flexibility if the president happens to be a candidate. Moving down a little bit, just some housekeeping things. Under item 3 at the initial meeting with the president and the executive director, one of the things that we want to make sure we just clarified is discussion of partnerships and facilities that operate on Park District land. Things like the Hat, the Shack, the Curling Club. There are several things that operate on Park District land, but they're not really part of the Park District. So a little clarification on that one. Then further down, under park facility project tour, personalized based on each new commissioner, the location, we added some language into the location we determined based on what commissioner would like to see, but could include, and then it goes down and lists everything out. Island Park and the swimming pool was delineated in this list. That's in page 3 in red. And then underneath swimming pools, we also included Island Park and swimming pool there as well for reference. Those are all the changes. Otherwise, we'll put this into play for the first time because at least one new commissioner will be elected tonight, and we'll come back next year with changes after we've been through it. And
I can't say enough thanks to everybody who contributed to this, because when each of us was elected for the first time, it was, there wasn't a path, and it was the staff trying to help us find our way and showing us what they did. And now we've got a way forward that's going to make it a lot easier for people to know what's going on in the park district faster and be up to speed a lot faster than it was historically. So thank you to everybody who contributed to this, because I think it's a great working document.
Hey, Vicky, is this something that could become like a yearly, like in the governance committee that we review? Just because I think this year we'll learn a lot, and probably in future years we just kind of edit and adapt yearly if needed.
Probably be every other year.
Or,
since
yeah,
it's-
sorry. Yeah, every
Elections are every
election
2
year.
years.
maybe instead of annually, we should put it on the calendar for 6 months out, and with the new commissioner, sit down and go, what worked, what didn't work, what do you want to see different, and get some feedback while it's still fresh.
I think that sounds great.
Good idea. Thanks, Zoe.
That concludes my reports for item number 4 and 5.
Thanks, Jerry.
And then I think we have to approve the changes, the proposed changes, correct? We can do that at this meeting? Okay, so I'll
yes.
make a motion to adopt the changes as presented to the new commissioner onboarding, park board onboarding.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comment?
Did I miss anything, Aaron?
No, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, hearing none. Susan, please poll the board.
Commissioner Rosted?
Yes.
Commissioner Deutsch?
Aye.
Commissioner Absey?
Aye.
Commissioner Hill?
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson?
Aye, motion carries. Agenda item number 6, planning committee update. I always feel like I'm repeating what we just did for the last half an hour or so. Planning committee, which was on Wednesday, May 27th, Garden of Healing, as we saw, Arlen and Sarah present today, phase 2, that'll get underway, approved tonight. The consent agenda items, which include the 12th Avenue Bridge project, which impacts us with our parkland both north and south of 12th Avenue. The Rose Creek Driving Range Improvement Project, the bridge maintenance agreement. Those were the things on the consent agenda. And then we also had a presentation from Urban Archery Deer Hunt with some numbers, how they did this last year, some changes they made, what they found to be successful, and then a consideration for adding some parks, which we're getting some details from the staff to bring back to us. And we had a cell tower proposal, which we're also looking for some more input on whether that price is in range with what we should be asking or expecting for the use of our land. And the 2027 budget, what's been going on? Always exciting, Brock. Budget, finance, key dates, what the plan of attack is, how we're going to work through it. And then the item under other was that someone inquired about purchasing Cornerstone Arena from us, which we are not interested at this time. And that is the end of the planning committee minutes. Anybody have anything else for the good of the order under number 7?
Before we adjourn, since this is my last meeting, I just wanted to thank all of you. I mean, it feels like in some ways that 4 years flew by, and in some ways it feels like it was 20 or more years. We started in the depot. Think about like we built phase 1, we approved phase 2 of the sports center, we finished Island Park pool. I think about the governance structure, the master plan. There's a lot that happened in my 4 years here. And, especially I want to thank all the staff. I know, Dave, you were kind of the one that has been here since I was elected. Susan came on, Jane came on. All the staff are really, it's a terrific staff, and I think it's headed in a great direction. Thank you, Jerry, Vicky, Zoe. I'm glad you're on the board now too. A special thanks to Dr. Joe for kind of, as I was campaigning, kind of taking me under your wing a little bit, and especially my first year with all the stuff we had going on. It was a pretty interesting first year for sure. So I had to learn quickly, but thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the time and everything that all of you do. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, and we want to thank you for stepping up to be on the park board, because we did have a lot of heavy lifting these last 4 years. That, again, maybe 40 years is more accurate of how it felt. But we're in a great place. We've got a lot of positive future coming ahead, and you were part of making that all happen with us. It was a great team.
Yeah.
They're cheering for you too.
I'll take
And,
whatever applause I can get.
And we're gonna take that as someone just voted for you. We wish you all the best in your future as well, and hopefully you keep watching the great things that the Park District does. So thanks, Aaron. Okay, with that, motion to adjourn.
Aaron, you gonna do it?
Yeah, sure. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Can I play on the gavel?